For more than 20 years, Britain has supplied Saudi Arabia with fighter jets. Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher negotiated the deal, the biggest in British history, worth £43 billion. But did Britain's largest arms producer, BAE, break anti-bribery rules by giving to members of the Saudi royal family and others millions of pounds worth of gifts to sweeten the deal? We don't know, because the British police called off a recent investigation into the alleged bribes after 18 months, saying there was insufficient evidence to prosecute. End of story.
If this prosecution had gone forward, all that would have happened is that we would have had months, potentially years of ill feeling between us and a key partner and ally, and probably to no purpose.
Except it's not the end of the story at all. It's just where it begins to get interesting. A coalition of activists have threatened to take the British government to court. They believe that calling off the fraud investigation was illegal, breaking key principles of British and international law, whether or not there were bribes.
Campaign Against the Arms Trade, one of the group, works on a shoestring out of a cramped office in North London. Hello, it's Sue, Ellicott for Al Jazeera. The Saudis reportedly threatened to cut diplomatic ties with the UK and cancel payments on the latest phase of the Eurofighter deal if the bribery investigation wasn't stopped. CAAT wants a court hearing to see if the British government abused its powers by pressing the police to halt the inquiry.
Is it a jobs issue or is it a national security issue?
It's not a national security issue or a jobs issue. It's a profits issue for BAE. It's a power issue. It's about the power that the arms trade has in Britain.
It's illegal in Britain to bribe foreign public officials for any reason. Britain's Serious Fraud Office is bound by an international treaty to investigate any alleged corruption. Last year, the government said the police had called off its inquiry into the so-called Yamama deal for reasons of national security.
Continuation of the investigation would cause serious damage to UK-Saudi security, intelligence and diplomatic cooperation, which is likely to have seriously negative consequences for the United Kingdom public interest in terms of both national security and our highest priority foreign policy objectives in the Middle East.
CAAT gave the government 2 weeks to restart the inquiry in the public interest, or they would seek a judicial review. Jamie Begent is one of CAAT's lawyers.
From the lawyer's point of view, this is really actually a domestic issue. This is about the UK government and their accountability to the public in following their declared policies. And in this instance, it's their declared policy to work against corruption in international trade. It's a signatory to the OECD Convention against bribery and corruption. I think they think they'll get away with it because they'll say national security. It's that trump card that they play that says, keep your noses out. We know best about security. It trumps everything.
My role as Prime Minister is to advise on what is the best national interest, strategic interests of our country, and I have absolutely no doubt at all that the right decision was taken in this regard. I take full responsibility for the advice that I gave in respect of it, but I have no doubt at all that had we allowed this to go forward, we'd have done immense damage to the true interests of this country, and as I say, leaving aside the fact that we'd have lost thousands of highly skilled British jobs and a very, very important business for British industry.
Suddenly, a new issue has come up: espionage. CAAT is here at the Royal Courts of Justice much faster than they expected, arguing with BAE, the maker of the Eurofighters. Not about the bribes, though. Someone, BAE won't say who, leaked to them confidential information about CAAT's legal strategy.
BAE's lawyers revealed that a confidential email from CAAT's computer system had found its way into BAE's offices.
So is this taking on the dimensions of a thriller now?
There's suddenly a lot of mystery around the arms trade, around how it exerts its influence, how much power it has over the government. But what I wouldn't want to happen is for anybody to think that this particular incident is exciting, but the wider issue of the arms trade and BAE's power isn't, because we are really tackling a giant of the arms trade. And history proves time and time again that ordinary men and women, by campaigning, can defeat that sort of power and can achieve change.
This unexpected day in court has stalled the activist case against the British government. CAAT says we seem to have a spy in our midst, or maybe someone is hacking into our computer system. Until we find out who sent it, they say we are not safe having conversations with our lawyers. And BAE refuses to reveal the source. In fact, they said, we behaved rather well. No one ordered us to tell you we had the email, but we did.
We're delighted with the outcome. The judge has ruled that BAE will have to divulge in a sworn affidavit how they obtained internal, confidential, legal advice belonging to Campaign Against Arms Trade. This is not just a victory for Campaign Against Arms Trade, this is a victory for the British public who expect rich and powerful companies like BAE Systems to be subject to the same laws as the rest of us.
1, 2, 3.